Let's bring in Alys Watson-Brown this morning, political commentator and contributor to Young Voices UK. Hello, Alys.
Good morning, Callum.
Lovely to have you on to get stuck into a few of the other front pages this morning. I think I want to start with the front page of the Times, actually, and it's more on MPs, their second jobs, and a Times investigation finding that MPs may be avoiding big tax bills on their second jobs, channeling hundreds of thousands of pounds in private consultancy work through personal companies in a move that may have significantly reduced their tax bills, reports the Times this morning. And I just wonder, Alys, I mean, this is a continuation of second jobs, outside interests, the kind of moral conundrum, I suppose, of whether MPs should be allowed second jobs, outside interests, but also the fact that they're not paying their fair share in tax, potentially, according to this Times investigation.
Well, yeah, I mean, it just reveals the complex nature of Burkean representation, doesn't it? I think it shows there should be some regulation. I'm not against MPs having second jobs. I don't think in a liberal democracy we should undermine or reprimand people for wanting to earn more money. I just think they should definitely declare possible conflicts of interest. Say if an MP is a doctor, I don't think it's a bad thing that these private interests possibly influence the way they vote on spending bills. But this is not illegal. These people know how to do it. And I guarantee it's not just MPs practicing this, but, there are a fair few examples of MPs doing this, using companies to accept payments for consultancy work. Mark Pritchard and Fiona Bruce already justified her £40,000 earning from her law firm to meet tax liability. But I think the whole question over Sleaze and second jobs, I think it sort of distracts the real problem of real corruption in Westminster. Claudia Webb still was on the Westminster payroll while she's been convicted as a criminal. And 6 other Labour MPs have also been handed prison sentences. I think we shouldn't I think Juliet Samuel made a very good point on this in the Telegraph the other day. We shouldn't keep focusing on locking MPs up in a boarding school, trying to make them live life as close to the average voter. These people will probably most definitely have a life outside of politics afterwards, as the cog of political life will naturally spit them out. But I do think there should be some regulation, especially when it comes to lobbying. But I'm not against the second job prospect at all.
Isn't it this sort of latest line, though, from the Times, the fact that MPs are potentially avoiding paying the tax that they are due by using various, albeit legal, but using various workarounds. These are MPs who are not paying the tax that they are supposed to pay, while the rest of us stump up the cash. That leaves a bitter taste, does it not?
Oh, I completely agree. It's definitely not in the public spirit, especially, these are the same MPs voting on measures to close local businesses through lockdowns and raise taxes after, an era of big government during COVID-19. But I'm also not surprised. This was definitely happening before COVID. I just don't think it resonates very well with the average person who's worried about their livelihood at the moment.
Taxes are the price we pay for a civilised society, as the old quote goes. I just wonder what happens when you stop paying the tax that you're due. As we say, the suggestion from the Times investigation is that, but also notable that these are legal workarounds, and they're not unique either to Parliament, it is worth saying. Right, shall we chat about woke young people? That's a favourite topic, isn't it, at the moment? Don't call young people woke, says leading head teacher. This is Samantha Price, president of the Girls' Schools Association, urging parents and teachers to keep up with the younger generation instead. And the suggestion is, I think sometimes the definition of woke can get a bit lost in the argument back and forth, can't it? Samantha Price is making the point that actually being woke tends to mean standing up for things that you believe in, standing up for things, in terms of equality, racism, or against racism, sexism, climate change, that sort of stuff. Where are we at with the label woke? Is there a good understanding of woke and whether it's a good or a bad thing to be considered woke?
It depends who you speak to. I agree the term woke has magnified over the last few years. It sort of used to be reminiscent of the term right on, I believe, where you're sort of aware of certain issues, standing up for minority rights. And who can argue with that? But it has sort of been associated with aggression, lack of debate, and lack of informed debate, notably.
Would you consider yourself woke?
I would say I'm adequately, I'm aware of what's going on.
That's being well informed, though. Is that the same as being woke?
Well, I would care about equality of opportunity. I wouldn't say that I necessarily jump on some of the Instagram thread bandwagons that some of my counterparts do. But I was definitely, I mean, when I was younger, was 17, 18, I was very, very woke. I think it's sort of part of growing up and finding your way in the world.
So you've got less woke as you've got older?
Yes. Well, I think so anyway.
Okay, why is that? Are you more cynical? Do you dislike more people? Cynical.
Yeah, and I think you can't rely on the government to make your life better for you. You have to do it yourself.
Really interesting. I just wonder if people would apply the term woke to themselves. You know, if it's a self-labelled thing, or if it's something that you are labelled by other people and those around you. Do you know what I mean? Do you self-identify as woke, or is it something that is inflicted upon you?
Yeah, I think people do definitely use woke as a sort of label to show where you are on the social climbing frame, I think. And I think people, they won't necessarily use the term woke, but they say if you stalk someone's Instagram bio, they will have certain phrases, even if it's just outlining their pronouns or certain LGBTQ flags, you know, that they are all signs of, you know, sniffing towards that. Yeah, I'm part of this part of society and this is what I think. We shouldn't discourage young people from being interested in the world around them. You know, it's good that they're caring. It's reassuring in some ways, but we need to make sure that what they are learning is informed information. Is informed, not just Instagram threads that random influencers have posted, being like, "This is how you can help. What's going on here?" And you pray for Palestine. And he's like, "This is sort of, it's not proper information. They don't know where this information is being from, and they're getting angry from that." And I think there is, especially with social media, there is a pressure to repost and to hop on these trends when you don't necessarily know what you're even talking about. I think they need to be taught to understand the role of proper academia and social theory, which changes all the time, and it always needs to be under the test of replication and application to the real world. They need to be told how to make their own decisions. Yeah. But I think it's sort of all part of being young and finding, you know, what the world's about.
Alys, really nice to speak to you this morning. Thank you so much. Thanks for being up with us.
Thank you, Callum.
Catch you soon. Bye. Cheers. That is Alys Watson-Brown, political commentator and contributor to Young Voices UK.